You have to equate disc golf manufacturers to mainstream companies. Who is Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, Puma, Jordan? I want to hear what Connor has to say. Trevor and I can kind of go over what we decided
I got
on.
mine. I've got at least my first
We
few.
kind of threw Jordan out the window because Jordan and Nike are the same.
The only way that would have made sense if Innova and Discmania were still partnered, those would have made like perfect sense. Now there's not really one that makes sense.
But Connor,
I'm going first off Nike.
One last thing. I'm so sorry. You could argue, I guess.
I forgot I said.
You could
let's
argue,
go,
I
Trevor.
guess, Latitude and one of the Dynamic is the
Sure.
Nike Jordan. But
Yeah.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to go right off the bat here. I'm not going to think too much about it. I'm
Love
just going
it.
to say Nike. I'm going to say Discraft.
Okay.
Really popular, solid. You know, at this point, kind of like I would say they're a stylish company in the sense of they've got the cool stamps, they've got the cool plastic. Everybody likes it. Whatever. Everybody's got to own a pair of Nikes. Everybody's got to have a Discraft disc, right? I'm going Innova as Adidas. The reason I say that is because I feel like Adidas is much more in tune with the vintage community, and in the sense
That's a valid
of
point.
you can get a lot of vintage Adidas stuff that people freak out about, whether it's like parachute style pants or like a Adidas, like old '90s Adidas windbreaker. People freak out about the old vintage Adidas stuff.
That's actually a great
just like
point.
they freak out about old vintage Innova. You know, the CE stuff like that. So just because of that specific market, I'm saying, and also they're still very relevant. There we go. So I'm going with there. What's my next one?
Under Armour.
Under Armour. I think Under Armour is practical. I wouldn't say Under Armour is the most stylish, the prettiest of the sports.
I like the way he's approaching this.
Yeah, he's
It's
going a lot
good.
differently
It's
than us.
good.
But I probably am going very different.
No, these are good answers.
These are good
though.
answers, though.
Yeah.
But it's very practical. They've got really great training shoes. They've got some running shoes in there. They've got really practical. Hunter's got some Under Armour pants on. They look
straight
great,
up.
but they're very
Practical, all
practical. So I'm gonna go with. I
also have Under Armour shoes on right now.
Practical.
Great, very
Hunter's
practical.
a practical guy.
He's a practical guy. So
What describes that?
Well, yeah,
I
who's
think
practical?
I think I'm going Prodigy.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, no nonsense in Prodigy. I wanted to go Discmania, but Discmania just hasn't had as much of a lineup lately. It's really hard to compare them to anything because
True.
they're in such a transition period. So I'm going Under Armour is Prodigy because Prodigy, you know, they've got no nonsense approach to disc golf, you know, until you get stuff like the Strider and stuff like that. But we'll forget that exists. And so yeah,
Dang.
I'm
Last
going there.
one, Puma.
Puma, Discmania. That seems very easy to me. For some reason, that is extremely, extremely easy. And I
Fascinating.
think it's because Puma, I immediately associate with a lot of soccer stuff. I feel like a lot of people who play soccer wear a lot of Puma, and Discmania is very European.
I think Trevor
I
and I.
love the way that
had
you approached this.
I also had a friend who was from South Africa, and he was a soccer player and wore a lot of Puma stuff, and
It's
he
definitely
loved Discmania.
They have a big space in soccer. Yeah, Hunter and I approached it a lot more of like where the success of the business is at. We didn't
You
quite.
see, that makes sense.
But I think your answers were actually better than ours. I think going on like the brand
they were
identity.
very similar.
They were similar, yeah.
We went Nike Innova, Adidas Discraft, Under Armour. I think we went Discmania.
I don't remember, to be honest.
I went
we
Under Armour
did go
Discmania mainly because like the athletes representing Under Armour, they're like all hinged on one or two big guys.
Gotcha.
And
I don't know.
Under
anything
Armour's
about
also
that.
kind of fallen off in
Connor's-
recent years slightly,
Yeah.
and so we were like, Under
Yeah,
Armour
yeah.
has Under Armour has Steph Curry, and who's the other? Freaking
Jordan Spieth.
Jordan Spieth.
To name a couple.
Discmania has Simon Lizotte,
Okay.
Eagle McMahon falling off. Simon's out of there.
So you guys went more the player direction. I went more the
Well, we went
product
feel.
direction.
Because Under Armour feels like Discmania, and
You're-
Puma we went MVP because Puma feels very MVP to me.
Okay.
They're kind
I
of
can't-
out there. They're kind of trending back in. They're getting
Gotcha.
more popular out of nowhere. But like you still kind of like if you're not in the know of what's cool, it still kind of like seems like the weird.
Gotcha.
They still seem weird.
Yeah.
Puma and Discmania seem to be the same thing to me.
Puma seems
I
to
see
be
it.
It's just because
I see it.
I don't know.
I see it. Yeah.
Nike and Adidas, I like your line of thought with it.
I really like
more
your line of
went
thought.
because I was more thinking like Nike's like you just walk into a sport, any sport,
True.
and you're just gonna fall into Nike.
That's very true.
And that's kind of how I view Innova. Whereas Adidas, like,
Well,
once
that
you're-
could be Discraft now. That was
is
Innova
true.
back in the day, but
I think it's still Innova.
true because Innova's still
Like,
in
if you-
bricks and
It
stuff
depends
like
where
that,
you
yeah.
go to find it.
Yeah.
Depends where you go.
I feel like
You're
you
right.
have a
No, you're
higher
right.
percent chance of buying an Innova starter set than a
Yeah.
Discraft starter set when you're,
You're
just
right.
walking into a sport. But then once you're
100%.
kind of into something and you start looking around, you start seeing other options, and Adidas makes a lot of great stuff. And like once you're in the fashion world, then
Yep.
you're like, oh, Adidas is way cooler. Adidas has
has
so much
cool
more
stuff.
Discraft. Once you're in the disc golf
Yep.
world, you're like, oh, Discraft's sick. Look at their team. They got blah. Then
I
you
get that.
transition
That
over.
makes a lot of
That's kind of
sense.
where we came from. But I like the vintage side that you were going with Adidas.
That was a very good
That was a
line of
very
thought.
good point. All right, well there you have it.
Honorable mention: Skechers. Who is Skechers?
Gateway.
No. See, man.
We got to talk about the Skechers thing on
Why?
the banter. We got to talk about it on the banter. Just wait for the banter.
Yeah,
Does
just
Connor
wait.
think Skechers are cool
No,
again?
wait,
They're
no,
making a comeback.
no.
I
This
just-
is not.
I was
Everybody,
asking
calm
if I
down.
can ask a
This is
question
about to
right
go
now.
off the rails.
I'm
We
just
can't talk about
I just
it.
asked a simple question.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
the
relate
answer
to
to that
disc golf.
question is no, and it's not going to relate to disc
Why
golf.
can't Skechers be Gateway?
We need to jump. We need to
I'll
jump
talk
out
about
of
it
this.
later.
We need to
Talk
jump
about it
out
later.
of this subject.
Would you say Skechers is Gateway?
I don't feel
Who would
comfortable.
you-
No, I would not say Skechers.
would you
is
say
Gateway
Skechers is?
because, in my opinion, Skechers makes really these days. Skechers makes very high quality products.
You don't think the Gateway makes high quality stuff?
Their last shipment
All
was very
right,
good.
and
This is why I
that
didn't want to
takes
get
us
into
on
this.
to
I don't
Christian
feel
Who do
comfortable.
you
Tatar.
think is
Things-
Skechers?
I don't know.
That takes
I
us-
was more just making a joke.
That takes
No,
us
you
on
have to pick a brand.
Okay. Okay, so for Skechers, I would say high quality product, but seems irrelevant.
Okay, so who you think?
Oh, I know who I would say.
Skechers.
Millennium.
Great answer.
Millennium.
DGA.
Legacy.
Legacy is another great
Legacy,
answer.
actually, I kind of see.
Another great
but
answer.
Legacy doesn't like. I view the Skechers are lame. Let's just be honest. That's how they're viewed.
I think
so. What
I'm
company is
changing my
kind of
answer.
lame?
I'm changing
That's
my
why I don't feel
answer.
comfortable answering this.
I'm changing my answer. No offense, DGA.
Okay.
I feel like DGA is like the ugly stepsister of Discraft to a certain extent.
Oh,
Like they got some great stuff. Once you get in DGA, they have some incredible flyers, great
Yeah.
feeling plastic. But when you're like on the outside looking in, like if someone pulls out like a Quake, yes. Does it fly incredible? Yes.
Yeah,
Is it probably a better Buzz OS?
Dude,
yes.
you're a hater, bro.
But if you see someone pull a Quake out of your bag, you're like,
me and DGA are like this.
We should add. We should add
Are
a
they?
segment to the show.
Not
DGA
any-
hates you.
Not anymore. They didn't like.